Pukeology Podcast, where science meets your hilarious puke stories and the tips and tricks to stop that chuckle that you need.
You never know what's going to spew out of her mouth. Here's
my mama,
Dr. Pukeology.
Pregnancy brain. Is it for real, or is it just a way for all of us pregnant women to be able to forget things and then never remember them or remember to do them? Well, I will tell you that pregnancy brain, also called mom brain, refers to attention and memory lapse during pregnancy. Believe it or not, 80% of expecting mothers report forgetting things that they once remembered with ease. And now scientists confirm that mommy brain is real and actually has a purpose. Find out more in today's episode 32 of Pregnancy Pukeology Podcast. Want no more morning sickness, pregnancy nausea, or how about no more headaches or migraines? Visit our sponsor, nomonausea.com, the only natural way to instantly stop your worst headaches, nausea, vomiting now. Or just place No More Nausea Ban on your baby registry for your delivery bag at Bye Bye Baby, or get it shipped for free in just 2 days on Amazon as a Prime vendor. And don't forget, No More Nausea always has your little ones taken care of with the first kids version, perfect for travel season, with No More Nausea Kids and No More Sleepless Nights Kids. So if your kid can't go to bed, go run over to CVS and they've got you covered. Pregnancy humor we'll talk about that may just make you want to pee your pants. Like you don't have to pee all the time, with hilarious stories like puking Pilates, mummy smell, and cave hunters and their green treasure. If you want to learn more about your pregnancy, humor and knowledge is the key to help you survive these 9 months. And just know we're in this together. Today, you will learn the science behind the real mom brain, a medical condition of forgetfulness, why we get pregnancy brain in the first place, and when does our brain go back to normal. This podcast wouldn't be complete without ways to help you improve your memory during your pregnancy.
The science of puke, Pukeology.
Pregnancy brain is also sometimes called mom brain, or baby brain for short. It refers to that attention and memory lapse that we were talking about during pregnancy. And let's be real, ladies, I've been pregnant multiple times, and it is for real. About 80%, like we said, of expectant mothers report forgetting things that they once remembered with ease. Although many studies show that women experience a remarkable decline in the key cognitive skills, scientists confirm that mom brain has an actual purpose. Brain changes, which happens during pregnancy, are meant to assist the mother to prepare a bond with that baby. This is what, according to psychologists, are actually saying. It's not 100% clear why pregnancy brain occurs, but the physical changes such as tiredness, exhaustion during first trimester, you're literally growing a human, could actually be the cause of forgetfulness, but research is always ongoing. So let's talk about the science behind mom brain, and we'll go with the most obvious to then the latest and greatest in research where they're actually studying mom brain on a neurological level utilizing MRIs. It's pretty awesome. Hormonal changes is very basic. We all know that our hormones will change continuously during pregnancy, and they result from physiological changes as well. Nobody completely knows how these affect your brain and memory because the science behind it are extremely mixed. According to some studies, pregnant women have remarkably worse memory and attention than other non-pregnant women. And research suggests that the worst memory in pregnant women occurs during their last 3 months of pregnancy. So it's called their last and third trimester is when you'll see these forgetfulness getting escalated and even more. Some of the research shows, though, that there's really no difference in their cognitive ability when they test it as a pre and post performance, both pregnant and non-pregnant women. But again, we're going to look at new cool research that's out there that actually verifies that yes, for real, pregnancy brain happens, and it takes up to 2 years for your brain to get back down to the normal chemistry. The brain really does function differently during pregnancy. That's what one study showed, and your brain has an increased activity in regions involving with emotional skills. So when one area decreases, we see an increase in your emotional level, hence why you're crying at every single Kleenex commercial. This prepares the body to bond with the baby. And this actually comes from the sense of sensitivity and emotions to be able to read facial expressions that your body is producing so that you can read your baby. It's kind of like if you're mom dogs, you can read your dog's mind without having to have them talk to you because you understand. Same concept with the baby. You know that the baby is upset, hurt feeling, and or hungry or happy when they make different types of facial expressions. And that's what you as a mom will key into. It's like a superpower. It's pretty awesome. Baby brain research that's utilizing MRI is literally top of the line new research. Now, if you're interested in knowing how the device works, like MRI or ultrasounds that we use on baby, go on over to episode 25. That's 3D ultrasound versus 4D ultrasound. What is a ultrasound or a sonogram podcast? It's pretty interesting that the inner workings. I myself was a biomedical physicist, before I was an actual physician. So it really was interesting to be able to tie the two loves of my life all together. This one-of-a-kind study reveals that the architecture of the woman's brain changes strikingly during their first pregnancy in ways that last over 2 years. In particular, the gray matter, there are two different types, the gray and white matter of the brain, but the gray matter actually shrinks in areas involving processing and responding to social signals. This means that the new mom brain were actually more efficiently wired in areas to allow them to respond to their infant's needs or to detect threatening people in their environments. All for a mother protective. That's exactly why if you've ever heard, a mommy bear, that's the reason. It's that enhanced, innate instinct to make sure that we're able to protect. Pregnancy is a time of dramatic hormonal-driven physiological and physical changes. Blood volume, hormone levels, absorption of nutrients, and other physiological capabilities dramatically grow and increase. Other changes that are actually anecdotal reports that pregnancy or pregnant women are able to forget things and have difficulty concentrating. Remember, we said that gray matter of the brain is actually shrunk. Whereas in animal studies that have shown that pregnancy is associated with apparently long-lasting anatomical brain changes that have been accompanied by an adaptive change. These rodents and or like mice, moms, become better at foraging for food, and virtually no studies have actually drilled down the anatomical changes in the human brain of pregnancy, but the University of Barcelona actually used real women and scanned them under MRI. There was 25 of them, and these are women who have never had children before, and then they became pregnant, and then they scanned them again 3 weeks to a month after they gave birth. So it was a really interesting progression. These findings at the University of Barcelona showed that gray matter, the volume, actually is decreased and loses in mothers that are not in the other group, which means non-pregnant women, the same women, did not have the same volume. It actually was higher than it was when they were pregnant. In today's Nature and Neuroscience is where all of this cool stuff was actually published, but the changes occurred primarily in the areas of the brain involved in social tasks, like reading the desires and intentions of others from their faces and actions. The hippocampus, which is a region of the brain associated with memory, which is also lost. So it shrinks in one area and increases volume in another. What's most important that the team actually found that the mother's scores on standardized tests that, gauged the degree of the mom's attachment to their infant could be predicted at a significant degree based upon the changes in their gray matter volume. So it's interesting to see that it had to do with how much they're loving, innate, and caring. I also thought it was interesting, and maybe hopefully somebody will take this research and look at postpartum depression in women and see what their brain volumes are doing if their gray matter has decreased enough, and or if the hippocampus has actually decreased. 2 years later, 11 of the 25 mothers who have not become pregnant again actually were returned for an MRI scan. And of the ones that had the gray matter loss, except in the hippocampus where most of the volume was restored, these changes were 100% accurate, stating that these women finally got the same amount of gray matter back. So it's interesting to say that these verbal memory, which is memory for faces and spatial recognition, actually were those spatial, what dentists are able to do, spatial recognition, were actually worse in the last trimester of pregnancy. But there's other studies that have found little to no cognitive defects, whereas this study in Barcelona showed that women finally got their brain back after 2 years. I think this is super cool. And to be honest with you, we're about to get into throwing up on a Tuesday. Guess what this mommy brain forgot? Oops. It's Wednesday, not even Tuesday. So I believe personally, mommy brain is for real.
Throwing up on a Tuesday? One puke story.
All I know is I was trying Pilates for my very first time, and it felt like a really good idea, being that I was only 10 to 12 weeks pregnant. Nobody let me know that Pilates is just a hilarious way of saying forced effort on the abdomen constantly. And being pregnant, all I wanted to do was throw up. So I tried really, really hard not to and was focusing on my breathing. The next thing that I knew, I breathed out a puke. Yes, you heard me right. I breathed out some nasty vile cereal that I had consumed before this awesome Pilates class. I bet you all can understand that I've never been back since. Thank you, Hottie Yachty, for that hilarious puke story. I have to say it'll change the way that I think about yoga and Pilates classes when they're in the prenatal state. Mummy smell? What's that? It is actually when I went up to DC and they have these beautiful museums. The museums themselves had all of these hilarious Egyptian working and things like that, and all I could smell was this draping putrid type smell. I guess it's because they embalmed real bodies. Well, my tummy embalmed real food, and what happened was I couldn't stop puking. I ended up throwing up on the side of the exhibit, and the problem is the trash can was over full. And so it started going and falling off the trash can onto the floor, and people around me were completely disgusted. Let's just say that they did not finish the tour with me. Guess it's a great way to not make friends when you're in the nation's capital. Thank you, Tamara. Your puke story made me laugh so hard. And again, that was TAMARA 727. The treasure behind going to my favorite place, which is in Nashville, it's called Ruby Falls, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. So I decided to take our entire family for a family fun trip. It was my husband, my son, and me, a few weeks pregnant, which we had just found out. So we get all the way down to this part of the cave where you had to crunch down. Didn't think it was a problem until it became an issue. We see this beautiful waterfall at the end of the cave, and all of a sudden the smell of rotten wolves. I don't know where I got that from, but rotten wolves is what I ended up smelling. I started vomiting in the beautiful water, and the guide asked me to please vomit on the rocks and not inside the water because that is like purified water. My husband still refuses to go back to Ruby Falls with me.
Tips and tricks to stop the up chuckle that you need.
So, it's normal and common to forget when you're pregnant, especially when you're in your third trimester. There is that decline in your brain cell volume, and we actually talk about that in the last one. So don't be surprised when you can't exactly recall where you placed your car keys or the person that you just wanted to call, because the regular layperson does this all the time anyway. The good news is that a few months after giving birth, and what we found in the University of Barcelona, is that in 2 years, you'll finally regain your memory. This is a great way it's to be used while pregnant. What's striking or interesting is that we found that the most amount of cognitive decline happens in the third trimester. So what can you do about pregnancy brain in order to help improve your memory? Here's just a few medical helpful hints that can keep your brain intact. Get adequate amount of sleep. Enough sleep is necessary for you to help refresh your memory and stay alert each and every day. Sleep also helps you to have the amount of energy needed to successfully carry out your pregnancy and grow your beautiful baby to term. You should be getting at least 8 hours of sleep. And if you can't, go on over to nomowristbands.com and take a look at their Nomo Sleepless Nights. It's a natural way that helps your body naturally increase its melatonin so you can go to sleep faster and stay asleep longer, utilizing pressure technology along with beautiful essential oils. Another thing that you can try is to train your brain. Yes, there are apps that are brain changing, so that you can actually follow something on the actual screen, whether that's a dot or something that you're supposed to remember, or a sequence of events. This will help you to cognitively be able to remember larger amounts of things all within the same period of time. Exercise regularly. Make sure that you consult your physician before working out. But moderate exercise while pregnant keeps you healthy and happy and actually improves your memory and gives you a better night's sleep also, making you stay more alert during the day, and it gives you that added energy that you're needed. I always talk about how amazing yoga, prenatal yoga is, and or swimming. Again, 2 great exercises that you can do pregnant and that are considered low impact. Make sure that you're taking your pregnancy supplements. Iron and vitamin supplements such as omega-3 fatty acids can help to improve your memory while making you remember things better while pregnant. Other things like phosphatidylserine, which is kind of in the same class as omegas, it helps to coat your brain. So in the white matter of the brain, it actually helps with cell transduction of the original message all the way through. And if you're not the type of girl who likes to swallow pills, get your omegas the natural way from eating fish and nuts. But remember, the fish has to be less or least amount of mercury. And if you're curious which fish those are, go check out episode 16, what you should be eating while you're pregnant. Get help. By that I mean delegate some of your duties to your partner, family, friends. Don't be ashamed. Just let them know, listen, I do not need to have any added stress. Can you help me out? My husband always says I'm the master delegator because I always have little minions that are always constantly working and doing things because I'm not afraid to ask. 90% of the time, they'll say absolutely and help you out. This will leave you with less things to feel stressed out about. And you'll have more time to spend for you, whether that's taking a bath or reading an amazing book. And last, keep all of your important objects in one place. This way, you won't struggle to find your important things like your car keys, like the house keys, your cell phone, and or make your life easy. Get a watch that actually finds your cell phone. And I wish that they had one for your actual sunglasses because I can't tell you the number of times when I was pregnant that I actually put my sunglasses on top of my head. Now you know why pregnancy brain actually happens. You forget in order to increase the amount of emotional connection that you have with your baby. Don't forget that it goes back to normal, so don't worry. And you just had 6 incredible, helpful ways to improve your memory each and every day. Now you know the science behind pregnancy brain, ultimately to give you the best answers and the research that is most current with mom brain that there is to date. If you love Pregnancy Pukeology Podcast and me, let me know. Give me a 5-star rating or likes for hearts. Don't forget to download this episode, but more importantly, share it with all your Prego friends. Thanks again for listening to Pregnancy Pukeology Podcast, episode 32, Pregnancy Brain and Increasing Your Memory While Being Pregnant.
Pukeology Podcast, edutainment at its finest.